It's time to add a little rock to your home music. It's the MÜZO Cobblestone. Take those old speakers and make them into a rich streaming audio system. Welcome everybody, a Spike Studio product review. This time we're looking at MÜZO. So MÜZO is both the device and an application. They have to work together, and it adds a little bit of style, contemporary look, as well as music to your home. So inside the box, you're going to get a couple info cards, which we'll talk about, but the MÜZO device itself. It looks like a cobblestone, which is what its name is. It's the MÜZO Cobblestone. The front of it has a couple indicator lights for skipping tracks, some other, is it on or not. Then the back has your connectivity. We have a screenshot of that. It has micro USB for power. It has the audio out. It has the Ethernet. It also has a WPS button for the built-in Wi-Fi. What this allows you to do is control this via an app, and then connecting either headphones or presumably you're going to use some sort of powered speaker amplifier system to your home sound. What does it bring to you? It brings remote control to antiquated systems, as well as the ability to stream things like Spotify or Pandora using the application connecting to theirs. So you can reuse your systems and speakers without having to upgrade a ton of stuff. It's a really cool, convenient, and affordable way to get that done. Let's talk about a few things that's included. First of all, you're going to get, of course, the MÜZO Cobblestone itself. They're going to tell you about how to use Spotify Premium inside of there. They're going to talk about the simple setup guide, which is really cool. They're going to provide you some cables. Now, there's 3 cables that come with it. First cable, for those of you that still remember these, is RCA. RCA to your stereo out, which is the mini on the back of the actual MÜZO that we talked about. The other cable that you're going to get is a stereo mini. So if you want to put that into something like we're going to use, is just a Bluetooth type speaker that has an aux input. The idea being is we don't have to hook up a whole surround sound system for this. We'll plug that into the back on the speaker side. Now the third one is the one I really want to talk about. And that would be the power cord. So what they give you is, of course, a micro USB to USB, and actually they also give you the plug, which is really nice. Unfortunately, there's one problem with their whole setup. Yeah, this is the link. This is it. This is the length of their power cord. So if you're going to put this somewhere, let's say on a shelf near a fireplace. Be a great place to put it, somewhere up in there. Look fantastic, wouldn't it? Problem being is that this isn't long enough to get to most plugs. So you're going to have either to get another cord, or you're going to have to get an extension, or you have to put this really close to power. I think their presumption is that you'll have this next to the speakers or the amplifier system that you'll have, and there should be power there. Great presumption, but maybe I want to have this in the middle of a room to an old surround sound that's built into the walls or something. I mean, there's many ways you could look at this. So we're going to plug this in. We have the power. I ran an extension cord. I'm cheating, but it's the only way to do it in the studio because we don't have power right here at the stand. We're going to plug it into the back of the actual MÜZO. And as you can see right away, we get an indicator light. Now, what I've done is one step ahead of time is I've already pre-configured this to connect to the Wi-Fi. Reason being, no reason for you to watch through the steps to connect this to the Wi-Fi itself. So we've loaded up the app. We did it on both iOS and Android. This, of course, is an Android here. The app is really kind of slick. We'll put up some screenshots of the app itself. Really kind of like the look and feel of the way it was. It's called the MÜZO Player, is their application itself. It has some great welcome screens. It searches for the wireless hi-fi system. It wants to know if it's already configured in the home. Is it already connected to the Wi-Fi? If not, it needs to do it. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a device. It says make sure it's on the same network as the actual device is, and both of these are on the same Wi-Fi. We'll say add a device. It says press the same configuration. We're going to skip. One thing I wanted to do was actually use the application to configure it to find out how easy it would be. I could hit the WPS button, I could have connected it to the Ethernet, but I'm going to walk through the steps that are on here. Here's what I found. I found that when I walk through without using WPS, trying to configure it using the device, I would get things like connect failed, which really then was disturbing, to be honest with you. And there's no easy way out. So one of the things that's on their screen is I have nowhere to go once I got it connect failed. I guess I could hit back. I say an alternate way to set up. What they want you to do is click the Wi-Fi setting button, select your new MÜZO, and look for the device name on the product. So, and then it says come back to this app. So basically you have to connect to this directly, which is in front of me, which I'm doing. So the name of this one is a link play. So I'm going to connect to the link play directly. And this time when I launch the player, I come in, it searches for the device, it found it, it now found the connectivity point, and I can give it a name. It's new, it's on the system, it's ready to be configured. It has a full settings page, I can rename it, I can give it speaker info, I can get all sorts of information about it. So it tells me the name of the network it's connected to, it tells me the name I've assigned to it and where it is, and then it does have the recent updates and firmware and everything else. It even tells me there's a new firmware available. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to do the upgrade. It says do not disconnect during this time because we want to have the newest features while we do the test. So what we did is took a little break as we updated the firmware. What they did is when we logged in, we saw there was a firmware update, which you should always do because you want to make sure you have the latest so you get all the cool features and upgrades and working together. We loaded this on Android, as I said. Now from this, now that we're connected to it, we also plugged in a cheap speaker. We have it down low, but we plugged in a cheap speaker just so you could do because it had an aux input. Remember, any stereo system or self-powered speakers or one with an amplifier can now be reused to stream music from your device, as well as Pandora, TuneIn, Spotify Premium. So what we're going to do is in the application itself, we're going to use some local stuff, things that won't get us in trouble on YouTube, so we don't get pulled down for playing copyrighted music that's out there and gets pulled up. We're going to go to the local device. With this, you can search, you can build favorites, you can search. I can log into Pandora, as I said. iHeartRadio is also on here. I forgot to mention them. So we're going to hit My Music. On there, as you can see in the screenshot, it lets you control a playlist, music share, or as well as things you've recently played. So from there, we're going to actually select a local one so we can show you how we control the audio and everything else that's on there. I'm going to select a local track. So with that local one, I can actually control the audio then. The volume's controlled by the app as well. I'm also able on the front of the device or on the app to skip, play, pause, and do everything else. So if you go up and touch, I've paused on there, or now that it's paused, I can hit play again from here. So what's cool about this is the controls that you have as you're sitting there or away. So we're going to pause this so we can talk some more. What do we like and what we don't like? We didn't like the short power cable. Honestly, that kind of drove us nuts, but I understand this may be near the speaker system you want to connect to. So that made a little bit of sense, but it was tough when we first went to plug it in. I like the app interface, is really slick. It's pretty cool. You can label multiple devices that are in here, so you can have many cobblestones connected together or individually around the house, different speaker systems. You can control them all from here, which is cool. We ran it on Android and iOS. Setting up the Wi-Fi was tough. Honestly, it gave us a lot of trouble. Once we went through the manual configuration, it connected right to the device and then let it connect to the internet. It worked beautifully from then on. We had to do that extra step. I presume WPS was a little bit easier. We tried that once. Same type of result. Maybe an app upgrade later will fix that as well. I like the ability to build your own playlist, to play from your phone, to connect to all the internet services. So to MÜZO, we tell them thank you. The Cobblestone is really cool. They give you all the connectivity cords you should need to start out, some basic stuff. It does not have digital audio out. Keep that in mind. It is using either the older RCA type connector from the stereo out or straight stereo connector from Stereo Mini. That's one thing you need to keep in mind for connectors. If it's a self-powered speaker, you're set. If not, you need an amplifier. The look of this thing is outstanding, and it's a great affordable way for you to start streaming internet music through an old speaker or stereo system. So I want to say thanks to MÜZO for sending it over. It's another product review from Spike Studio. Make sure you subscribe to all the product reviews that we have. And if you have additional things you want us to look at, either let us know in the comments or get in touch to send it over. Thanks again.